this is Noreen from Joy Cards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Yay! For more of my Stampin' Up! Card videos, click the subscribe and the little bell, and you'll be notified when my videos release. Anyway, last week, or on Sunday actually, June 12th, 2022, I did the tutorial for Nature's Prints, but I didn't do the cards because it's a long video. Who wants to sit through all that? So I wanted to go over the cards, and this set is interesting. I really kind of struggled with it because in my opinion, it's a layering set. It's not, it's just different. The only things you can do with it, and they show it in the catalog, is layer. And if you're not a layerer, this might not be a good one for you. And I'm not a layerer, but I have to do it. I'm a demonstrator. I really should do those kind of things. And layering, if you have issues with that as well, just Google sketches, like sketch cards, and they'll give you basic layouts. And that's all this really is. And it's odd because I found that the individual pieces just kind of don't line up. They're not the same scale. And I thought the flower here was just odd with all these, plus it didn't have any leaves, and what are it was just odd. So I kind of struggled with it a little bit. So I don't know about the Stampin' Die set, but the paper itself, the paper is insanely beautiful. If you're gonna get anything, get the paper. It's just, I mean, I'm gonna order more of this because it is definitely well worth it. And you're gonna cut it up a bunch of times, so make sure you got one of these little folders. Now, everything in this video, like this folders and my magnets, all the Stampin' Up! Stuff is listed in the detail of the video. So if you go next to the title and hit that little arrow and the show more, everything pops up. All the card dimensions, everything is there, so there's no hiding anything. Also, I did find that the 3D embossing folder was really nice, and I'll show you the cards for that. But you do need an embossing folder plate, a 3D one. Now, Stampin' Up! Used to have one, and they don't have it anymore. I'm gonna put out a call to Sizzix and find out what the 3D embossing folder plate. So look in the description of my video and see that I've got that. Also, I'll put the link for the tutorial video on this as well. But let's do the first card. Now in this video, usually I make a card, but this is such a simple set because you're just layering. There's really nothing more to it than layering. So I can totally just explain this, make this video a lot shorter. So in this card, all I did is I took my 3D embossing folder, I inked the side with the Stampin' Up, that's the front, and I ran it through, and the ink that I used was Pacific Point, and I just stuck the gray granite ribbon on there. And the one good thing about this set in the dies is that you do have a sentiment die. So I used their sentiment die and just snailed it under the thing there, and then did the inside, just real basic. So this is card number 1. Here is card number 2. And like I said, all the dimensions, like this is what you would call a sketch card because it's just cutting up the DS paper and layering it. And the dimensions for this is in the description of the video, so just pull it up. So on card number 2, this is what I did. I just did a sketch layering. Here's that sentiment tag that comes with the dies, which is like the best die in there. And then I just used the paper inside. But this paper right here, this is that sun prints, believe it or not. It's the back side of one of the things. And then this is also sun prints and just basic white. So here's card number 2. Here's card number 3. Now, you probably can't tell on the video, but this die cut is done with the foam adhesive strips. And I mean, you could try to dimensional this, but it would be tough. So what you would do is you would just take the strips, take off the top layer and put a piece of white on it, and then die cut. And then you get this really nice 3D kind of cut here. And then of course I use the sentiment tag here and the Starry Sky. This background color, this is DS paper. This is that sun prints, which is really, really pretty. It doesn't do any justice on the video, I'm sure, but in person you can really see the different colors there, and then just white. And the other thing I didn't like about this set, and you notice it in the catalog, is that most of it is blue. Like, they're making the leaves blue, and I'm kind of a realist. It's like, leaves shouldn't be blue, they should be green. And there is a card at the end where I'm not using blue because I just refused after a while. It's like, no, 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 no. Even though the paper is just gorgeous, leaves aren't blue. So, and then the inside, I just did the white and the blue. And then I took, when you're cutting these out, you're going to have extra because that die doesn't cover the whole thing, but you need to put the paper on the whole thing. So what I did is I lined this up, and then I took the other little pieces and I kind of filled it in. And even though they're dimensional, then I usually don't put those on the inside of a card. It kind of looks neat here because the whole theme of this set is blue and white. I mean, you just can't get away from it. And then, of course, I used the Pearl Basic Jewels on the for the embellishment. So this is card number 3. Here's card number 4, and now it's similar to 3 but totally different. And what I did is, so this die right here does not give a perfect circle. It leaves this jaggedy stuff here. So what I used was Stylish Shapes, and I used the second largest circle, and I put it on DS paper and just put it in the middle, and then put this die over it. Now, of course, I used the foam adhesive sheets like I did on that card. And when you put this through your die cutter, go ahead and, like I said before, just line up all the extra spaces with the smaller ones so you can decorate inside. But also put it through your die cutter like 8 or 10 times because this is pretty thick. And you don't want to be sitting there trying to pull it off and everything. And the back might pull off as you're pulling this out because it's such an intricate die. Like I said before, to line these up, to cut a few and then line them up, that's a big old pain. So definitely use some of these. So yeah, I cut the circle out, and then I put a piece of basic white, stamped the sentiment in the middle, use those Pearl Basic Jewels because this set is blue and white. It's a blue and white sketch card. So this is kind of the way it is. I mean, you can't even like put berries on it without it looking like a reef, and yeah, I just didn't dig this set. And then the inside, I used those extra pieces from the foam adhesive strips and put them inside here and just layered this up. So anyway, this is card number 4. Here's card number 5, and I did something a little different. And like I said, this is a sketch card set. So what I did is I took the DS paper here and just a 5.5 by 4.25, and I split it down the side. And then I took my cutter and I took the piece that's cut in half and then lined it up a 1/2 inch and cut it on both pieces. So I had a nice inch here in the middle, and I was able to put the sentiment tag here. So I put one in the middle, and then I took 2 other ones and then just cut them off at the side. And I went ahead and stamped in Starry Sky the flower, and then cut off the excess here and put the sunflower resin shape. Sorry, I'm just getting over COVID again, so I'm a little hard to understand. But I put these embellishments here. I also underneath here put the back side of the DS paper. It's in that gray, so it looks like that underneath. So it's not like white underneath. So we've got the DS paper in the blue, and then the gray, and then the blue and the white, because it's a blue and white card set. And then on the inside, I just took those pieces that I cut off from the angle and then just squared them off and put them here. But all the dimensions, like I said, will be in the description of the video. You can just pull it up. Like I said, I'm also an Amazon affiliate, so you're going to have Stampin' Up supplies, and then you're going to have Amazon supplies like my glass, the magnets, the paper holders, everything's in there. So this is card number 5. Here's card number 6, and I just realized it was the only card that I actually stamped something. Well, I guess I used the flower here, but I didn't use the stamps a lot, which tells you something. So this is the only one that I Versamarked. So what this is, this background, is the back of this paper. It's beautiful. The paper is insane. So I would definitely get the paper and the embossing folder. I don't know about the stamp set. If you're into leaves and flowers, and even the flower is kind of cartoony, where the leaf here, this leaf is actually the best one in the whole set. I really think that that's really pretty. Unfortunately, it doesn't, like, I don't know, it's a layering thing. So I used the back side of that DS paper, and then I Versamarked it in white. Now, if you haven't got the new mini catalog, this is in the back of the mini catalog, and it's this nice set. And I have been using this entire time something kind of similar that I got at, like, probably the craft show. And now this one's a little better because it has this little spout here you can take off. It comes with tweezers and a brush, and woo, look, an embossing buddy. We haven't seen that for a while. So I used this, and I went ahead and I just Versamarked this in the white embossing powder and used a gray granite ribbon. Luckily, I had this ribbon, and the sentiment, and just backed it on Starry Sky in white, blue and white. There you go. And then the inside, I just layered it up like that. So this is card number 6. Here's my final card, card number 7, and I refuse to use the blue and white. It's like, I did a whole video on all the greens you can use for this on the prior one. It's like, I'm gonna make it in a different color. So what I did here is I used this DS paper, is from Tea Boutique. So this is great paper. I'm going to order some more because they have some really fantastic colors. Even if you don't do the tea set, the paper is definitely worth it. So that's that. I also, the base of the card is from the Tea Boutique carton envelopes. Just because it was so easy, it's like, you know what? I'm just going to grab one of these, and it matches just really nice. So you can miss a little bit of the little flower pattern, but you can kind of see it. So I was good with that. And then the foliage here is cut in garden green, and then I stamped out that silly little flower here, and I stamped this out in real red. Even though this is sweet sorbet, I stamped it out in real red because I planned to use real red, because it was like, what do you use with yellow and green? You use red, right? So I stamped it out real red, and then I took blending pens and I colored it in the light real red, the Stampin' Blends. And then I took Mango Melody, the dark one, and made the yellow in the middle. And I did this on the other video. You can go back on the June 12th video. And then I cut off that stem, and then I fussy cut it. And then on the edge of the cut, I filled it in with the dark real red, so there wouldn't have any white showing through. And then I pumped it up on dimensionals. And then the sentiment, I did something different too, is I cut one out, and I ended up using Sweet Sorbet because real red, I don't know, you can't really tell the difference. But I cut it out in Sweet Sorbet, and then I cut it out again in basic white. And then when you cut this out, there's a little border. So I followed the border and just fuzzy cut it on the white so I could have a backing for it. So that one worked out really well. And then, of course, I took some extra foliage. I bumped this up on dimensionals. And then on the inside, I took another piece of that cut from Tea Boutique. And then here's the flower. This is Sweet Sorbet, but this is card number 7. So here are all my cards. Go ahead and case away. Like I said, I wasn't too thrilled about this set. It's more of a layering sketch kind of card kit. I didn't think any of the elements really were racially, they kind of went together. I don't know. But the embossing folder is cool. The paper is gorgeous. And those are my cards. So you have a good day. Thanks. Bye.